Most brands don't get ignored because they lack creativity. They get ignored because they are irrelevant. And that's a much harder problem to fix because most marketing focuses on the wrong thing: better visuals, better copy, better campaigns. But none of that matters if the message does not connect to what the audience is already experiencing. That's why some brands feel impossible to ignore, while others, even with significantly bigger budgets, get skipped instantly. In this video, I'll show you the real structure behind that difference. Not tactics, but the psychological mechanisms that make marketing feel instantly relevant and almost impossible to ignore. And once you understand this, you'll start seeing exactly why some brands capture attention effortlessly and others struggle no matter how much they spend. So, let's get into it. Most marketing starts in the same place: the product. Companies begin their messaging by talking about things like product features, specifications, their technical capabilities, product innovations. And from the company's perspective, that makes perfect sense. After all, they built the product. They know how much work went into it. They know exactly what makes it impressive. But there's a small problem. Your audience is not thinking about your product. They are thinking about their own life, their own frustrations, their own problems, their own goals, their own aspirations. When your campaign begins by describing the product, it answers the question your audience has not asked yet. And this creates a disconnect because the conversation started in the wrong place. Magnetic brands do something else entirely. They start where the audience already is, inside the audience's current experience. To understand that better, we need to look at something called the awareness journey. One of the most important frameworks in marketing comes from a legendary copywriter, Eugene Schwartz. He observed that customers exist at different levels of awareness when it comes to their problems and solutions, and he identified 5 stages of awareness. Let's walk through them. Stage 1: unaware. The person is experiencing inconvenience, a friction, but they haven't yet identified the real problem. They already feel frustration, but they cannot name the root cause. Stage 2: problem aware. Now the person clearly understands the problem. They know the root cause for the inconvenience they experience, but they haven't yet chosen a solution to fix that problem, so they are looking for possible solutions. Stage 3: solution aware. Now the person is reviewing available solutions, picking the best fit, and start exploring the products which they will need to implement a chosen solution. Which brings us to stage 4, product aware. Now the person knows about specific brands and products. They are comparing options. They are evaluating which one to choose, which one is the best fit. And finally, stage 5, most aware. This person is ready to buy. They just need reassurance or confirmation. Here's the key insight. Most marketing fails because it speaks to the wrong awareness level. For example, a brand might advertise advanced product features to an audience that hasn't even identified their problem yet. That message feels irrelevant. Not because the product is bad, but because the timing is wrong. Magnetic brands align their message with the audience's current awareness stage. They meet people exactly where they are. But awareness level is only one part of the equation. The second part involves how the value is communicated, which brings us to the persuasion ladder. Most marketing communicates value in a very shallow way. Usually it starts at 2 levels: product features and benefits. That's not wrong, but it's weak persuasion because it's focused on the product. The approach I always use benefits from all 6 layers of the persuasion ladder. This framework describes 6 different levels of communicating value. Level 1, the already mentioned product features. It answers the question what the product has. Then level 2, the benefits. What the product does. What this brings to the audience. Level 3, problem solved. What frustration disappears. Level 4, the enemy. What obstacle or frustration the brand fights against. Level 5, life improvement. How audience's life gets better. And the deepest level, identity transformation. Who the audience gets to be. This is where marketing becomes powerful. Because people rarely buy products for the product itself. They buy movement toward a better version of themselves. People don't buy fitness equipment. They buy becoming someone who feels confident in their body. People don't buy productivity tools. They buy becoming someone who feels organized and in control. And when marketing connects with identity transformation, it becomes deeply persuasive. But here's the next insight. Strong persuasion actually works in reverse order. Think of it this way. Both sides of the transaction enter the same persuasion ladder from completely different ends. Most marketing starts with product features and rarely progresses to benefits. Most brands stay at levels 1 and 2. But the audience doesn't wake up thinking about product features and benefits. They do the opposite. They enter this conversation from the opposite end of the persuasion ladder. They think about their life improvements, the identity they aspire to be, or the problems and inconveniences they want removed. Only once there's initial interest do they progress to product benefits and features. Most companies structure their marketing like this: product, features, benefits, customer. They start with the product and move outward. But the most persuasive brands reverse that direction. They start with the customer's experience, their frustration, their internal dialogue, their current situation. Then they describe the desired future, who the customer wants to become. Only after that do they introduce the product. This creates something much more powerful: recognition. When people hear their situation described clearly, and ideally using the same words they use in their own thoughts, something clicks. They feel understood. And when people feel understood, their resistance drops. That's when attention becomes effortless. The brand suddenly feels relevant, almost magnetic. Think of it this way. When you talk about your product features, you are talking about yourself. When you talk about the problems your audience experiences, how their life gets better, the enemy that you fight, or the audience transformation, you are talking about them. There's one more structural layer behind persuasive marketing, and it explains how decisions actually happen. Every buying decision involves uncertainty, even small ones. Before someone says yes to a product, they subconsciously resolve several questions. The first is relevance. Is this meant for someone like me or someone who I aspire to be? If the message doesn't feel relevant, attention disappears instantly. The second is safety. Will I regret this decision? People want to be sure they will not make a mistake. The third is logical justification. Does this make sense? Even emotional purchases require rational explanation afterwards. You have to justify the decision you already made. And the fourth is identity alignment. Does this move me closer to who I want to become? Persuasion happens when these four uncertainties are reduced: relevance, safety, logic, identity. When all four become clear, the decision feels obvious. Not forced, not manipulated, just obvious. So, why do some brands become impossible to ignore? To answer this, we need to combine everything together. Brands become magnetic when they do four things well. First, they identify the audience's awareness stage. Second, they speak directly to the audience's real problems and frustrations. Third, they communicate value through deeper levels of persuasion, not just product features and benefits. And fourth, they reduce the four uncertainties that block decisions: relevance, safety, logic, and identity. When those pieces align, marketing stops feeling like marketing. It feels like recognition, like someone describing your situation perfectly. And that's when brands become impossible to ignore. They are not louder, they are not pushier, they are simply aligned with human psychology. Persuasion isn't about tricks, it's about alignment. And this is where I want to involve you. One of the best ways to understand persuasive marketing is to analyze real cases. So here's what I'd like you to do. In the comments below, tell me, what marketing challenge are you dealing with right now? Maybe your ads aren't converting. Maybe your brand isn't standing out. Maybe you are struggling to explain your value, or have issues during the meetings. Share the problem in the comments, and I'll turn the most interesting ones into future videos packed with solutions. Your real-world challenges will become the case studies we break down on this channel. I'll see you in the next one.